Hey, Diane DeWald with CreativeCatCrafts.com. Welcome back to the channel. And this is the card we're going to make today. I just think this is such a fun card. It's a little more involved, but it's really not that bad once you get rolling. I did a count of my Christmas cards this week and I have 42 done. I send out between 80 and 85 cards every year. So I need to get myself moving because it's October 31st. So I did ahead of time this sheet because it's got dimensions, it's got all the ink colors. I create this every time just for a quick reference as to what colors, what dimensions, if you don't have the Gina K Designs Master Layout series, and then quick shopping down below. I X'd this out because obviously I haven't recorded the channel or this video and uploaded it to YouTube, but I will have all the specific items down below. This is probably going to be a little bit of a longer video. I'm making multiple panels because I'm doing 8 of these cards. I've already got 4 done and I'm doing 4 more. So I'm going to do some of the same panels like this panel here and the inside. The insides, I've actually got all of those done, but I'll explain what I did. Thought I had it recording, but obviously I did not. So let's get started. And I have one of the birds already done for the card we're going to put together, but I'm going to go through the motions to show you what I did and how I colored this bird, and let's go from there. So I'm going to pause you real quick and get this set up and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my die cuts ready to for the tag for the front of the card, the Merry Christmas, and I'm going to show you a trick on that one. And I've already got the die cuts for the bird, so let me get some information here. So the Decorative Tag Dies from Gina K, that I'm actually using most of everything that's in my stash already. So why don't I just go through that? And then from Vintage Summer, this Cardinal is what we're using. And I actually cut off the floral piece since that's more spring, summer, and not winter. Then, oops, that's the Vintage Summer. From Christmas Cheer, this Merry Christmas is what's going to go on the tag. And these are all sets that I had in my collection. And this greenery back for the background and then on the inside, that is from the Holiday Silhouettes, and it's this pine needle here. I'm sure you've got something very similar if you don't have these in your stash. And then the thing that I just purchased here recently is the Seasonal Patterns and Phrases. I can't wait to use this background stamp. And as you can see, I've already used this. This is going inside of all of my Christmas cards this year. And From Our House to Yours was also from the Holiday Silhouettes. So it's a lot. It sounds like a lot of moving parts. It is, but like I said, I had all of this from my stash. So shop your stash. Absolutely shop your stash. So I'm just going to slide these dies into the little die outline. I'm using Memento Tuxedo for the Cardinal because we're going to use Prismacolor pencils and Gamsol for those, and then Cherry Red for the Merry Christmas. And that came out pretty well. First impression. Same with the Merry Christmas. So I'm just going to do 4 of these. and I'm actually going to do them individually. I was sweating doing them together, and I think it'll just be faster to do it this way. This is a very well-loved Merry Christmas stamp, so it's, oops, it's getting really good. The S in the middle of Christmas. Ooh, perfect. Sometimes when that happens, it gets blurry. Perfect. And I have found with the red, it's going to stain my stamp, but, oh, sorry for the light right there. Gina K's stamp cleaner, I have found it takes some of the staining away. So I just spritz that on there, and then I come back with a little bit of water just in case there's any chemical left. I pull it off. So let's go ahead and do the other cardinals that I want to do. And for the Memento, I don't need that stamp cleaner. I'm going to let that ink soak into that cardstock. Oh, that's perfect. It just needed a second coat. And one more. Oh, because I've already got one bird colored. Yeah, one more. Want to make sure I get him nice and dark. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to pause you, clean this up, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, next step. So you notice a slight difference. I trimmed off the round piece of that tag. I didn't want it to be a tag, and I'm lining it up to where I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch, and look at that. So I'm going to do all of those and then I'll be right back. Okay, I've already performed surgery on 2 of these birds, and as if you've watched my snowflake kisses, I absolutely despise fussy cutting, but I just felt it was truly necessary for this particular stamp and for this scene that we're doing. There. So let me get all these little parts and pieces thrown away. And I'm going to get one of these birds fully colored, and then I'm going to do the other 2 off camera, and then I'll come back with the Gamsol. So Prismacolor, I'm using crimson, red, and black. That's all I'm doing. And for this guy, I just kind of colored in around. Oh, there's one more. Hang on. I got to grab it. So it's cadmium orange. And I've already done his little beak. So it's just basically just putting a little bit of spot color in there, just like that. And let me get you zoomed in super close. And like I said, and if you go look at photographs of cardinals, this black kind of extends down into underneath their beak. And then for the red, this is a male cardinal, so I'm fully coloring this guy in. And the Gamsol will spread this, so I'm not being super careful with my pencil strokes. I'm just coloring them in. And then down the wings. This form of coloring is super easy, super forgiving. I'm doing large areas and I just went outside the line over here. So wonderful little eraser. I think I got this one. Any eraser will work. I think this is a Alta New conditioning stamp. So I'm going to go color the rest of those and be back in a jiffy. Okay, so all I'm using is a blending stump and then Gamsol. Let me grab the bottle because I keep it in a container, a sealed container, but it's an odorless, it's a mineral spirit, so it's odorless. So you do want to use this in a well-ventilated area. I don't react to it like alcohol, but you definitely want to protect your lungs because you just do. So one end I'm going to use for the black, the other for the red, and I just dip it in, just get a little bit on it. And this is basically just going to move the pigment around. And you can see right there, it took pencil strokes, whoops, let me move the right way, and just smoothed it out. And I'm going to do those birds off camera. And so I'm going to load this up for the red. And we're just going to move this pigment around and smooth out these lines. You don't want your blending stump to be super wet, but if you start noticing that your pigment's not moving for your pencil, just grab a little bit more. And just like that, we have a fully colored bird. So it went from this to this, and I'm seeing, oh, that was just dust. And then we're going to get the beak just like that. And I went to, like, this is the one I went out of the side. If you have a white colored pencil, you could just color over that and it disappears even more. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this, but what I am also going to do, so I grabbed my Tombow 977 brown marker, and we're going to use this later, but I'm just going to come in here in this branch this bird's sitting on. I'm just going to color it in. So I'm going to pause you, finish these two birds, and I'll be back. So aren't these birds just so darn cute? But it went from that rough pencil to this. I think it's just gorgeous. So now we are going to, oh, I have you way too close. I'm moving you out just a smidge. So you can kind of see what's going on. So now we're going to do this pine here in the corner, and I stamped that 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So it's going to go fast, and we're going to do this direction. I'm going to get one of those cards because I want to see how I did that. So holiday silhouette. Got to grab that stamp. I think it's a very versatile stamp. So how did I do this? Wasn't like that. It was like this. So I did that. I did it like that. Okay. So this panel. Okay. So from Master Layouts 2, it's the plain. You've got a stitched and you have a plain rectangle. And the plain rectangle, whoops, the plain rectangle is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. And then the brown, charcoal brown matte is from Master Layout 1. And it's the smaller of the two rectangles. So the large rectangle 2, which is 3 7/8 by 5 and an eighth, 5 and an eighth. So I liked it to where I have an eighth of an inch around. If I'd used the larger of the two Master Layout 1, I would have had more of a brown border. I like the skinny border, so do whichever works for you. So I have this panel. Let's pick it up and let's get this show on the road. So I'm using Christmas Pine, and I'm even getting the branches. I think I end up having to stamp this 3 times just to get good coverage. Nope, 2 is good, but I have 4 panels, so I'm going to rush through this real quick. And do be careful, because this one is not off the edge, but a couple of the others, they're going to be off the edge. So just be careful when you're grabbing the ink or the panel, that you don't slide your finger through ink. I'm famous for that. Whoops. Okay. I love doing assembly line type of cards like this. It just makes the process faster, although recording a video, not so much. And if you bobble a little and have extra fuzz or something like that, we're actually going to ink blend and it's going to disappear. So that's okay. Because I think on one of these panels, I had seen a little bit of red. Oops. And it was going to disappear. I'm going to move those birds out of the way because I want to clean the stamp before I move it. And my next, I had it coming up like this. So down here, we're going to be slightly off. So let's pick that up. And it's going to look really weird. So I'm going to grab it from up here because there's ink on the platform. This is a Gina K Designs grip mat. I highly recommend, if you've got a Misty, getting one of these, because once your cardstock's down, it's not moving. And on the flip side of it, it is 2 different A2 size background stamps. So I'm using the complete smooth side, But if I flipped it over, it would give me a background, 2 different backgrounds. Yes, I get inky fingers. If my fingers are inked or inky, that means I'm not playing enough. And you can see that this background, these backgrounds are well loved because they're stained. Okay. And let's move that card out of the way. I splattered a card earlier today and I was so disappointed. Okay, so let's pull this up. Oh, actually I didn't need to, but I do want to get any excess ink off. So we'll put that back down. And let's see where I put the other one. Now I gotta rotate this. Gotta rotate it, so I did need to pick it up. And I'm putting it in the corner here so that each panel, that's where I focus it. So you know what? We're only going to do 3 of these. Yep, we're only going to do this 3. I did 4. Well, let's see. We shall see. Nope, I want something down in that corner because that's going to be visible. Yep. So up in this corner, some fuzz. Oh, I did that twice already. The first set of cards, because the stamp had not been used and wasn't conditioned, I had to do 2 or 3. Plus it was my concept card. Those always take me so much longer as I'm working it out. If you were only doing one of these, this would be super fast doing it this way. But this also gives you an idea. Set up an assembly line. Do more than one. It's the only way I'm able to do 80 plus Christmas cards every year. Okay. Shield that card over there because I would be super disappointed if I ruined that. Okay. And I do want this to come right up and fill that in. Just like that. So let's pick that up. Be slightly different than the other. Yeah, I like that. It gives it a whole lot more depth doing it that way. So up in the right up corner. Oh, and I should have done the from our house to yours up here at the top. Let's go ahead and do that as soon as we get done with this pine. Because then we are done with the Misty, doing it that way. And we can start assembling one of these cards. I'm only going to do one with you. The other, I'm going to go ahead and move off or do off camera. Okay, so put this away. I'll be back with that other stamp. This is really a fun set. I see this and this coming into play. The moon silhouette from a couple months ago. I see this going across the front of it. But we are doing from, let's get it right side up, from our house to yours. And that is going to be in Gina K Black Onyx. Please be straight. It doesn't look straight. It's not straight. It is not straight. So let me wash that off and do the others. Get that green ink so that I don't get my hand in it. And it was kind of wet. There's a grid on the Misty lid. There. I think that's, wow, I cannot line this thing up to save my life today. Okay, that's better. If it's a little crooked, it's handmade. And that's the house. The house is crooked. Oh, this one is really... Okay. Let's do it this way. Okay. My head's in the way, I know. Okay, that's better. Make sure I get the black. Lining things up when it's not straight, and yes, I know I got my head in the way. Yeah, it's a problem when you're filming something. Okay. We are almost done with the Misty. And then we can do some ink blending and assembly. Perfect. I love it. Okay, I will be right back. Okay, I've got my handy dandy. I need to get that out of the way. My handy dandy turntable. And I've got an acrylic cutting board, and this sticky mat is from Altenew. It's their large one, and it lives on the cutting board. And then I just, oh, look what I did. I just pull this off the protective sheet. So the inside, what I did with that is I took that pine stamp and stamped it up here in the Christmas pine. Then I took a blending brush and medium spruce, and I just did up here at the corner. I stamped from Seasonal Patterns and Phrases this saying, wishing you and yours a happy holiday season and all the best for a new year. I did that in the Gina K Black Onyx. And then because I put this on the inside of a white card, I took charcoal brown ink and blended around the outside, just so that it stands out when you open it rather than just being a plain white panel with pine and some words. I just wanted a little bit of character on the inside. So for this, got my ink stand and our panel, and I'm sticking it down. So I'm taking that same 977 Tombow, and let me get you in close so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And I'm going to do the large brush and all these larger branches. Oops, ink stand's in the way. I'm just adding a little brown because the branches should be brown and not green. It doesn't matter if it's not, if it's not perfect. Some of this is going to get covered and some of it's not. So I did that with all of them. And you can see right there, it made those pine branches pop out a little more. Now, just taking a regular blending brush, and I'm going to load it up with some spruce. I tap it off like that just to get some of the harshness. And I start down here at the corner, very light, and then increase the pressure. And I'm just adding a little bit of green down here, just so that it's not stark white. And it's just that easy. So again, and then do be careful because there is ink on this from where I was swirling. And so I'm just going to come in here with this brown. And color in some of these branches. And this one I'm going to extend to the side so it comes off the side. And then get my blending brush and start off the side, off the corner. And I just go one direction and then change direction. You see how that kind of covers up that starkness. So I'm going to do the other two panels and I'll be right back. Okay, then the last thing we're going to do, there's from the Seasonal Patterns and Phrases. This splatter stamp is awesome. And I've got a block here. I'm just going to put it on, and we're going to use black onyx and a piece of scrap cardstock. And I love this. It just adds character. Look at that. That's awesome. So we can put this thing together. So my charcoal brown, and we're going to use the Gina K tape runner today. Hopefully it won't run out in the middle of this. If not, if it does, you'll see me changing it out. And I'm going to show you something. It took me forever to realize. So these, there's a little, you can see it says push. I did not know these were hinged. And it just, this comes up and a new one slides in. I didn't know that. It was forever. So card base, I get these from Cut Cardstock. They're cut to A2 size. They're already pre-scored. Makes it easy. And when you're making 80 Christmas cards, it really helps. So, oh, I was holding it like I was doing glue. So we'll get this on the front. Burnish that down, and we've got an inside panel. And I did just the panel. I usually like to mat the inside, but I'm going to have a Christmas letter that goes in, and that's just extra weight. So I'm really trying to make these not so heavy. So let's get some dimension for this bird. Yes, these are all my Stampin' Up! Dimensions. And the Merry Christmas as well. I'm being strategic because I've already done these. So I'll explain why I only used 3 here on that in just a moment. And I'm going to grab some low tack tape. Hold that down. I'm going to pull all of these backings off. Get my tweezers. There. And then this guy, I need my glue. It's going to go over the legs of that bird. And up here, I left that without the dimension because that bird's already demented. It could be a demented bird, but it already has dimensionals. So I'm going to try to get this straight and then press it down. And voila, we have a wonderful Christmas card. Oops, that really stuck. So thank you very much for joining me today on this wonderful adventure in making this gorgeous card. I'll have all the links down below. If you're new to my channel, if you would click the subscribe button down below and then that little notification bell and click all that way, the next time I post a video, you'll get notified. Until next time, happy stamping, everyone.